You ever get the feeling that everything's just moving too fast?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Like everyone's just rushing around trying to get ahead.
Yeah, it's like everyone's telling you to hustle all the time.
And you can't fall behind, right?
You got to keep going and going.
Exactly.
But then you end up making mistakes or feeling stressed or just plain burnt out.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah. And that's actually what today's deep dive is all about.
Okay, cool.
So we're taking a look at this quote from a book called Food for Thought.
Okay.
It's by Ron Jackson, and he says,
Let's hear it.
"Moving too fast can cause you to miss the warning signs and crash."
Ooh, that's pretty powerful. I like that.
Yeah, it really got me thinking because it's not just about slowing down.
Right, it's about something else.
It's about those warning signs.
Those are important. Like, what are we missing when we're going too fast?
Yeah, exactly. And why are we so bad at seeing them in the first place?
Well, our brains are kind of wired to go for the good stuff and avoid the bad stuff.
Okay, so we're chasing the reward.
Exactly. And when we're really focused on a goal, sometimes we block out anything that might slow us down.
Even if it's important.
Even if it's a warning sign that something's not right.
So we're basically blinded by our own ambition.
Kinda, yeah. And then you add in all that pressure from society, like hustle culture and all that.
Everyone telling you to be productive all the time.
You gotta grind, grind, grind.
And if you're not busy, are you even successful?
Right. Like taking a break is almost a bad thing.
It's crazy.
But all that pressure just makes it even harder to slow down and pay attention to how we're feeling.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about those warning signs specifically.
Yeah, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
So the source mentioned stress, exhaustion, strained relationships.
Oh, and even those little mistakes that you wouldn't normally make.
Exactly.
What's that all about?
It's like our bodies and minds are trying to tell us something's off.
Yeah, it's like your car's dashboard.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
When a warning light pops up, you don't just ignore it.
Right, you got to figure out what's going on.
Exactly. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe it's something serious, but you got to check it out.
And if you just keep ignoring it?
Then you're heading for a breakdown.
Yeah, a major crash.
And that can happen in any area of life, not just work.
Right, like even those big life decisions.
Oh, yeah, totally. Think about buying a house.
Oh, man. So much pressure.
Or switching careers.
Huge decision.
You got to be careful not to get swept up in the excitement.
And miss those warning signs.
Exactly. Like that time I almost bought that bright orange car.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, I was so caught up in how cool it looked. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about the terrible gas mileage.
Or how hard it would be to keep clean.
Exactly. I was blinded by the shiny newness.
And you would have crashed and burned financially.
Oh, big time. Good thing I snapped out of it.
So that crash that the source talks about, what does that actually look like in real life?
Well, it can take a lot of different forms,
Okay.
It could be burnout. It could be your relationships falling apart.
Oh, yeah.
It could even be physical health problems.
Wow. So ignoring those warning signs can really have serious consequences.
And the ironic thing is that by pushing ourselves too hard, we often end up sabotaging our own goals.
Yeah. How does that work?
Well, we get less efficient, we make more mistakes, we're not as creative.
So it's counterproductive.
Totally.
So how do we actually start paying attention to those internal signals?
Great question. Well, the source actually had some good tips.
Lay them on me.
All right. So the first one is to build in some regular reflection time.
What, like meditation?
It could be, but it doesn't have to be that formal,
Okay.
Even just taking 5 minutes each day to just pause and check in with yourself.
Like a mental health check-in.
Exactly. How am I feeling physically?
And mentally?
What went well today? What could be better?
So simple, but probably so effective.
It really helps you become more aware of your own state of mind.
Yeah, and catch those patterns before they become big problems.
Exactly. It's all about prevention.
I like it. What's the next tip?
This one's important. Listen to the people who know you best.
Oh, like friends and family.
Exactly. They often see things that we miss.
Especially when we're caught up in the thick of things.
If someone you trust expresses concern, don't just brush it off.
They might be seeing something you're not.
They might have that outside perspective that you need.
Makes sense. What's the last tip?
Trust your gut.
Ooh, that little voice inside.
Exactly. If something feels off or you have that feeling of unease,
Like a little red flag popping up in your mind.
don't ignore it. Pay attention to it.
That's your intuition trying to tell you something.
Valuable information.
I love that this is all about being more in tune with ourselves.
Totally. And it's not just about avoiding burnout either.
Oh, so we can apply this to other areas of life.
Absolutely. Think about your relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Are you ignoring red flags because you're so focused on the idea of being in a relationship?
Yeah, you could be blinded by the potential of it all.
Exactly. Or what about your finances? Are you making impulsive purchases that don't really align with your goals?
Just because of that fear of missing out.
It's easy to get caught up in the moment.
Yeah, so this is about being mindful, paying attention, and not letting that need for speed control everything we do.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Real progress isn't about how fast we move. It's about making conscious choices.
Choices that lead to a fulfilling life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Wow, that went by fast.
But I think we covered a lot of ground. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I really liked that quote. It's something I'm going to keep in mind.
Me too. And for everyone listening, if you want to learn more about this stuff,
You know where to go.
check out Ron Jackson's book, Food for Thought.
Lots of good stuff in there.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone.